3. What is a nerd? Google says it's a foolish person who lacks social skills or is boringly studious. But we don't really see nerds as that. We see nerds as like things we've seen from TV, like people that wear glasses, are allergic to peanuts, and have asthma. I'm all 3 of those things. I get called a nerd on a daily basis. Out of all 3 of those things, I think being allergic to peanuts has affected my life the most, and I've had the most incidents and stories regarding being allergic to peanuts. For instance, when I was in 5th grade, a doctor came to speak to my class. Her name was Dr. Ledbetter, and she taught us about cells. After she was done teaching us, she had an activity for us. The activity was she brought us little sugar cookies and she brought us little candies, and the candies would be like a ribosome would be like a jelly bean or something like that. So once we put the cell together, we had to show her and our science teacher. After we showed them, we got to eat it. So I ate it. Maybe about 5 minutes later, my throat started to get a little itchy. So I asked the teacher if me and a friend could go to the restroom so I could see what was going on. As soon as we got to the restroom, maybe 2 minutes later, it felt like something was trying to crawl out my throat and I couldn't really breathe, and I felt like I had to throw up. So we raced back to the classroom, and I went in there and I asked Dr. Ledbetter, I said, did anything we use have peanuts? And she said, yes, we use peanut M&Ms. The whole class went silent, and my teacher told her that I was badly allergic to peanuts. And so they raced me to the nurse's office, and Dr. Ledbetter was apologizing to me like crazy, but I wasn't really focused on it because I couldn't really breathe. So once we got to the nurse's office, turns out the nurse was on vacation, and the interim nurse didn't know where my EpiPen was. The EpiPen is something you stick into a person's thigh to help them. And the school had to call the ambulance. So while the ambulance was on their way, the teacher said she would call my parents. Turns out my parents both left their phones at home. So the school had to call their office buildings to let them know that I couldn't breathe. So once they got a hold of them, it took them about 30 minutes to get back. The ambulance and my mom came at the same time. They gave me my EpiPen and I was fine. But my parents were apologizing to me like crazy. And probably the next week after that was probably the best week because I got to do anything I wanted because they felt bad. But what I learned from this was that I should always ask first, and I do always ask first to the point where it gets annoying. If I go out, I go, does this have peanuts? If somebody gives me something, I go, does this have peanuts? I read every single type of label just so something like that doesn't happen to me again. And I just learned to always think twice and to always be careful.